2024, a single article during the Miami Grand Prix put Red Bull's Jonathan Wheatley in the spotlight, and he was not happy. This was the trigger to Wheatley's decision to leave Oracle Red Bull Racing after nearly 2 decades. One question is left unanswered. Was Christian Horner behind the chaos? Jonathan Wheatley served as a sporting director for Red Bull Racing. Before that, he held the role of team manager. A sporting director in Formula 1 oversees the team's operational and sporting aspects, both at the factory and trackside. He was responsible for managing personnel, logistics, and ensuring compliance with the FIA regulations. Basically, he was the bridge between the team's management and the operational teams. He made sure everything ran smoothly both on and off the track. When he was sporting director, he was responsible for ensuring the team stuck to FIA regulations, managing communications and overseeing the pit crew. He was a key figure in Red Bull's success, helping them to win their 6 Constructors and 8 Drivers' Championships. He famously conjured up the plan to have one glorious lap of racing in Abu Dhabi 2021, and I'm forever grateful for that. He was the one who organized the pit stops in such a way that they kept setting records. He was an enormous asset to the Milton Keynes team, and it's clear they missed him this season, seeing how many pit stops went wrong. The period before and around the 2024 Miami Grand Prix was a very rough patch for the Red Bull team. Adrian Newey had just announced his departure, and the news about Horner's scandal and his position within the organization kept flooding in. Adrian Newey left because he hated the political struggles that were going on in the Austrian team, and he felt undervalued after some comments made by Christian Horner, the ones about Newey working part-time and walking in and out whenever he pleased. Eventually, Newey signed for Aston Martin and even got shares in the team. Ironically, this is what Christian Horner desired the most, a piece of a team rather than being employed. So, social media and newspapers were full of articles about what was going on at Red Bull. These people were working overtime. I'm making this video during the summer break, and it's very quiet at the moment, which is also nice. Planet F1, which is part of Sky Media, placed an article that would cause Jonathan Wheatley to leave Red Bull after almost 20 years. The article was posted on the 7th of May in 2024, and it was called "Another Big Name Could Leave Red Bull as Teams Consider Management Change." I'll leave a link in the description. It spoke about the uncertainty of Jonathan Wheatley staying with Red Bull or not after the departure of Adrian Newey. At the time, it looked very likely that Wheatley would take on the role of team principal as the position of Christian Horner was in doubt. I think it would have been a great idea to promote Wheatley and give Horner time to sort things out. Christian Horner was too ambitious and didn't want to part with his job. It's clear Wheatley was also ambitious, and at Red Bull he hit what they call a glass ceiling, with Horner in the position of team principal. Anyway, this news article was a bit of a bombshell in the middle of a lot of negative news around this team already. It would have a disastrous effect, or maybe it did what was intended. Jonathan Wheatley has shared in the media that he wasn't happy at all with that Planet F1 article. He revealed that he had difficulties at Red Bull after it was suspected that he would be leaving the F1 team, and, believe it or not, that triggered him to leave. He said, "I'll be honest with you, there was an article that came out in Miami last year. I wasn't happy, and I had a very low media profile at the time, on purpose. And then, suddenly, my name was in all the papers, which created a difficult situation at work. But what it did do, there were then a lot of approaches. And you start thinking about it then, because people are obviously very interested in where you could be. I guess also my mindset there was, I'd signed a lock-in contract and I would honor that from start to finish. I'm not the sort of person who signs a contract and then tries to wheedle my way out of it, because there's a slightly different offer. When I commit to a team, I commit to it. You know, 16 years at Benetton Renault, 19 years at Red Bull, and I have no intention of leaving here either. So that opened up a lot of conversations with many teams. It's quite ironic that an article came out talking about the possibility of someone leaving, and then it being the cause of that person leaving. It's like it was meant to be that way. It's a bit dodgy. don't you think? I can imagine how weird it is to be on the road with all your colleagues, working all hours, pushing them to great heights, while they know you're looking elsewhere. Like, everyone is free to shop around, but it should stay behind closed doors until something concrete happens. That article ruined his position within Red Bull, and I believe it was done on purpose. To top things off, it was Red Bull and Christian Horner who announced Wheatley's departure on the 1st of August in 2024, which I think is a weird thing to do. Someone leaving is not something you share normally as an employer, unless you're secretly relieved that person is leaving. If you're enjoying this video, here's 3 seconds to leave a like. Okay, here's the thing. The Planet F1 article doesn't say how they got the information at the time, so I'm using a bit of creative liberty here. Seeing everything that had happened at Red Bull involving Christian Horner, my gut feeling tells me he was behind this article. I'll tell you exactly why I think that. Horner was backed by the Thai majority of Red Bull, and he believed that a Formula 1 team should be run swiftly and by one person rather than a board. He was the head of 4 departments, and he knew the Austrian side wasn't pleased with that. So in his fight to keep himself on top of things, choices were very black and white. Someone was either for him or against him. Newey was against him and favored the Austrian side more, so he left after Horner's comments about him. Good riddance, Horner must have thought. He even said that it was easier financially without Newey's wage pressing on the budget. Jonathan Wheatley, eyeing Horner's team principal job, was never going to fly. Not a chance in hell would he part with that job out of free will. So I think he leaked that information about Wheatley sniffing around for another job, and in doing so made his stay at Red Bull a lot harder. I've read an article with Horner's reaction to Wheatley leaving, and he casually explained that he advised him to go to Sauber. He also said that Wheatley's leaving would create a space financially and in the ranks at Red Bull to promote other people. So Horner, playing chess, helped to get a competitor for the team principal job away from his team, making a future competitor on track even stronger. But with Horner out of F1, that's not his problem anymore. Wheatley reacted earlier this season to Horner's dismissal. He admitted that the problems at Red Bull played a part in his eventual move to Sauber. He said, "It felt like even those who were in core positions were wondering if times were changing, and it was time to move on, because maybe the recent dominant era was over." It's such a shame we don't have Wheatley at Red Bull anymore. His hand is clearly visible at the Sauber team. They are the highest scoring midfield team in the last 4 races, and pit stops are going smoothly, and the overall outlook for the Audi team in 2026 looks better than 6 months ago. Christian Horner has a lot to answer for. I realize there are still people out there who support him, so I'd like to see you in the comments so we can have a debate. Christian Horner did a lot of amazing things for Red Bull, but that didn't give him a pass to do as he pleased. That's why he's sacked. For the people who wholeheartedly agree with this video, please subscribe and tell your mates. Take care now. Doei doei.